Whenever you guys would come, whatever Tuesday afternoon, they would be so hyped when you would walk in the room. And seeing that reaction compared to me just saying, okay, we're going to read a poem, and you just brought relevance to it. They got really excited when you would play the music and your energy, and it was just really connecting a cultural relevance piece with like literacy, and seeing how hip hop is poetry and poetry can be hip hop. So you guys really helped to build that connection. Just being more open to talk about culturally relevant things in the classroom, whether it's, elements of hip hop, connecting things that we're doing now with figurative language back to what we learned through the hip hop program. And I think, like my colleagues said too, being able for them to see us as learners and growers and people through this, because I learned a lot. I didn't know about elements of hip hop or, bars or any of that. It was just, I was a learner in that situation too. So that really helped, I think, to build relationships for me to show that I was vulnerable. And I think that helped my students feel comfortable taking risks as well. I really do believe representation matters. And as a white woman in the school district of Lancaster, where many of my students don't look like me, I don't look like them, that's an experience that I can't provide for them. As much as I have representation, in my books or in my teaching or whatever, having somebody in front of the classroom that is, speaking their language, quote unquote, of, listening to the music that they are growing up with or that their parents grew up with. I think it's just really powerful to have that become, wow, so we're doing this, it's like in school. We always say here as part of our equity training, like we don't want students to have to play the give it up game. Like you walk through these doors and I have to become somebody else, or I have to change my register, or have to code switch, whatever. Like it really provided that opportunity for students to just be real and still be learning literacy and learning, figurative language and seeing how deep that can go with the art that they've grown up around. So I think one of my favorite moments that was like jaw on the floor was, I have a student who he struggles in school, and he's quiet, very reserved, but the one day you guys asked for volunteers, if somebody wanted to come up and actually put these words up there to a beat. And he raised his hand, and I was a little nervous because I didn't want him to embarrass himself and I want the other kids to, but it was almost like, he may struggle reading, but as soon as he got up there and could read the poetry that was put to a beat, it was like a different kid emerged. And he was a fluent reader, and he was, it was just amazing. And I actually shared with his parents at conferences that he got up and did that, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, he did that? That's not like him. And I'm like, no, he was empowered by it. And I think just seeing his self-confidence and seeing that moment for him where he was able to shine and his peers were able to cheer him on, it was really cool. When we learn, in our typical school day, it's very like compartmentalized, like, okay, there's this piece and then we're going to go to math and then we're going to go to literacy and whatever. And, yes, we do build classroom community, but I feel like in the hip hop program, there was so many elements, and it allowed the students to express themselves through the journaling, through their writing, about their values, about their family, about trauma, about pain or joy, and allowing it to kind of be through the lens or the avenue of you're writing hip hop. So it's cool. It's not like, tell me your life story, the pressure. So I think so, because it really gave students an opportunity to be vulnerable and feel safe in that, that it did help our classroom community really grow. Not just socially, also academically too. So it really was like encompassing of the whole child.